Well, thank you so much for joining us for another daily devotion. I was reading through Proverbs and got to Proverbs chapter 17, and I just want to read you what it says really quickly. And it says this: a joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up bones. Uh, in today's world, obviously, there's a lot of opportunities to be either one of these. Um, if you think about all the ways that you can be joyful, there's a lot of ways that we can look at and measure and see the goodness of God in our life. Number one, just in the coming of Jesus and the salvation that he provided through his grace and through his love for us. And then also through the sacrifice and the gifts that the Holy Spirit brings, the companionship that the Holy Spirit brings and allows us to experience day in and day out. And so there are reasons spiritually that we always have joy. They can never be affected by the non-spiritual. They can never be taken away from us. And so there's one evidence or fact that we have that we hold to in times like this. Not only that, do we have a spiritual hope, but I think every one of us would probably have some type of physical hope that we have, and that we look around and we see God's evidence of his grace and his mercy and his care for us in the things that we possess. If you have a roof over your head and a meal for today, then you are blessed. And that comes from the Lord. Remember Matthew 6 when it talks about the problem and the issue of worrying. And if you worry, then he says, look at the birds of the air. Does God not care for them? And then he says, look at the lilies of the field. Has God not clothed them? So who of you should worry about what you will eat or what you will wear? For your Father knows your needs, even before you have them. And he knows the hair on your head. And he knows all things about us, and yet he is so gracious to provide not just the spiritual blessings of the Lord, but the physical blessings that he gives us that has in so many ways reminded us of his care and his comfort. Many of us are still in an area or in a situation where we still have income, so we celebrate. And if you are in an area, in a situation where you do not have income, then you celebrate about the opportunities that God is bringing to you and providing for you even in those times of need. Not only do we have those types of hope, but we have a future hope that Christ is going to return. And we look forward to his returning. In fact, we not only watch for him, we wait for him. And so you see those things, two things come together and combine. That the Bible tells us that we must be alert, that we must always be waiting for him. But it also says be alert and watch for him. And so in this season, he has given us some indications of when he will return by looking at the signs of the times. And so we see those things happening. And so we look with an expectation of his return, waiting and watching. And I think it's very, very important for us to stay on mission using the gifts that he gives us to continue to do his work while we wait and watch for him. And so we have a spiritual hope. We have the hope and see the joy and the provision of God, our Father, that he is the good Father in providing our physical needs. And then we have the future hope. And so all of this produces in us a joy, a lifestyle of joy that hopefully we are good medicine to other people. Even though the world is chaotic, even though the world is looking for a vaccine, even though the world is looking for a medicine that will fight one virus, the good news is this, that Proverbs says that we possess joy, and which is a fruit of the Spirit. And so if the Spirit lives in you, you have joy. And so if we have joy, then we are good medicine. But it says this too, that a crushed spirit dries up the bones. I want you to think about that just for a second and just ask yourself, who are you being to other people? Are you one that is like good medicine, or are you one that dries up the bones? Are you one that brings and reminds people of the good news of Jesus? Or are you one that only focuses on the negative and the non-essential in your life? You know, I'm reminded this week someone sent me just a word of encouragement. They were driving through their neighborhood, and over the years, many years, they had seen this house that was totally dilapidated and decaying and falling down. And often this person thought, why don't they just bulldoze that and take that down? And then lately, somebody has purchased that and has been doing renovation work, and now it is a beautiful structure that is almost complete. And the person texted me and said, you know, it just proves that this house, this old house, must have had a solid foundation. one of the other areas in your life that you know you have joy in your life is simply the foundation being Jesus Christ. Standing firm on that foundation and knowing that Jesus Christ has paid it all. What a good reminder for us to know that He has paid it all and that He has taken our sin and our shame and He has laid a new foundation, made us a new creation, and He has taken what the enemy wanted to destroy, where we would just be somebody that would be a crushed spirit under our sin and our shame and our decay in sin. And instead, He has made us a new creation. He has renovated us. He has done a transformational work in our lives through Jesus Christ. And so I hope today that you would be good medicine for people all around you. You call somebody on the phone, encourage them today with the good news of Jesus and what Jesus has done for you and what He is doing for you. And then that you would also encourage those that may be crushed in spirit, that you would encourage them and point them to Jesus, the place of hope. Thank you so much for joining us today.